I've been DoorDashing at night for a few months, and everyone you encounter in fast food restaurants at like 11 p.m. on a Tuesday are fucking freaks. Like, never order DoorDash at night and meet your driver in person, especially if you're a woman, because they're almost definitely gonna be a fucking weirdo. There's a Taco Bell near me where it has like the two doors, like, you know, you go in one glass door and then you're just like in a little area, and then you go through the second door. And for some reason, they locked the second door and installed a window in between the two doors for DoorDashers at night. So when you go in, you're just like trapped in this little prison with the window there that they're not actually at, just waiting for your food. So I go in there and I'm waiting for the food. Another guy comes in. He doesn't have any teeth, which is, you know, kind of standard for DoorDashers. And him and I are chatting. He's all right, you know. He's probably on something. He's missing all his teeth. He's a little goofy, but he's like, it wasn't the worst conversation ever, even though we're trapped in this small box, like way too close to each other. And then another guy comes in, this really old guy with a huge beer gut. He's holding a Bud Light. He walks in and he's like, huh? And we're like, are you here for DoorDash? Because it's closed for regular customers. You have to go drive through. And he's like, yeah, DoorDash. And I was like, we're like, okay, yeah, you just have to wait here. He's like, I need to get my order. And we're like, no, see the window? Like, they locked the second door. We're trapped in this little glass box until they bring us the order. And he's like, ugh. And he's just kind of like standing there, like sipping his Bud Light while me and the toothless dude chat. And then one of the employees comes over and they go, all right, so who has which DoorDash? The guy's like, I have James. I'm like, I have Emily. And then we're like, what was your name? And he's like, huh? We're like, what was the name on your DoorDash? And he's like, I don't know. And we're like, do you have a DoorDash order? Because he didn't have a phone. And he's like, yeah, I have a DoorDash. And we're like, what was the name? And he's like, Sophia? Which turns out, shockingly, he was right. It was Sophia. I don't know how the hell he managed to conjure up that memory, but he didn't have a phone with him. And me and the other dude are chatting, and the old guy pulls fingernail clippers out of his pocket, sets his beer on the ground, and starts clipping his fingernails in this really close quarters small box that we're locked in, and his fingernails are just flying. And right when he starts doing it, like he's almost done with his first hand, the employee comes over with his order, and he's like, order for Sophia, and he doesn't even notice he's clipping his fingernails. And we're like, that's your order, dude. And he's like, huh? Oh, okay, just a second. And then he starts clipping his other hand. And he waits until he's finished. Like, the Taco Bell employee is, like, impatient, but he's just standing there. And I'm looking at him like, yeah. I don't know what to do, dude. I was about to take it for him, but I felt weird. Because he's just standing there clipping his fingernails, and we're all just, like, standing there staring at him. And then he finally finishes and takes it and goes. I see him get into the passenger seat. Sorry. I saw him get into the passenger seat, so he wasn't the one driving. But I feel like the driver might have been drunk also, because I got my order right after. I go out to my car, and their car, they pull out, and they're just like sideways, blocking the entrance to the parking lot. Like it was a two-way entrance, you know? And they're just like sideways. And I'm sitting behind them, and I almost never honk my horn, but they don't notice, and they're just like sitting there. So I honk, and then they start driving, and they're just like, the car is just like going like 5 miles per hour swerving. And I was like, why are they DoorDashing? Just like two hammered old dudes doing DoorDash deliveries? And also, why did he have fingernail clippers in his pocket? Did he plan for that? Because that's not something that you need to do like frequently. I was so confused. That's the most confusing part, is why did he have fingernail clippers in his pocket? Was he just waiting for downtime to clip his fingernails? I don't understand. Like, that's something you do at home a couple times a week. I don't know how often I trim my fingernails. I've never thought about it. But I know there's never been a moment where I'm like, oh man, I'm standing here bored. I'm glad I have fingernail. I wish I had fingernail clippers in my pocket to clip them. That has never happened. And also just like, there's constantly weirdos just trying to chat with me. This guy, he wasn't a customer actually, but I was waiting in a Carl's Jr. for an order. And there were two ladies, two DoorDashers, both also. If I'm talking about a DoorDasher at night, you can assume they look like they've been actively smoking meth for a couple of years. That's just who it is. And there's these two ladies talking there, and one of them saying it's their first time DoorDashing. And so then the guy sets out an order, and she grabs 2 bags, and they're busy as fuck, which I have never seen a Carl's Jr. busy. I don't know what was happening. Even the employees, when I talk to them later, they're like, we've never been busy like that before. I'm like, yeah, it's Carl's Jr. Who the fuck eats there? And by the way, Carl's Jr., I'll never forgive you for giving me a boner in like 2012 when you had that Kate Upton ad during the Super Bowl when I was at my grandma's house. Yeah, why the fuck do I need to see ass and tits on your burger commercial? Fuck you, Carl's Jr. Your food sucks too. And so I wait in there. I'm waiting there forever. And those 2 ladies leave. And my order's not ready, but I don't like to bother them, and I'm just playing Clash of Clans on my phone. I'm sitting in the back. This other dude walks in. He sits on the table, like, you know, a bit away from me, like a normal person. And he goes like, man, my friend was supposed to get off work 20 minutes ago. And I was like, yeah, they're busy as hell back there. Like, I barely look up for my phone. But apparently he thought that me responding at all was enough of an invitation to come sit at my table with me. And so he comes over and he sits on the booth. I'm sitting in the booth. He sits on the booth next to me. And he just starts chatting, like, I don't know, about nothing. He just starts complaining. He just starts, like, showing me, like, pictures on his phone, like his screenshots on his phone. And then he starts talking about how he's trying to buy a dog for $600, and he's like, but it's usually $1,000 dog, which for some reason there's this thing, it's like trading and barter, it's like gold for junkies. Sorry, I say junkie, tweaker, stuff like that a lot, but that's who I grew up around. That's some of my family, okay? I feel like I'm allowed to call them that. But like tweakers are always using dogs as like trading material. Like they're always talking about like, yeah, I just got this dog, it's worth $600. Yeah, I'm gonna buy this pit bull from my cousin who he bought it for $1,000, but he's selling it to me for $700. And I don't understand it. Like, it's like really rich people buy bougie ass designer dogs, and then really poor drug addicts buy $800 pit bulls, and then they like sell them to each other. And it's so confusing. Just a little while ago, I was in a Walmart parking lot, and this lady runs up. She's like, sir! And she's holding 2 pugs, like baby pugs, in her arms. And she's like, I'm really hungry. Can you buy me a Whopper from Burger King? I was like, okay. And I pull out my phone, and I download the Burger King app, and I order her a Whopper. And she's just talking like, yeah, I'm just really hungry out here. I have these 2 I have these 2 pugs, and they're worth $1,000 each. I just need someone to buy them. I'm trying to find someone out here to buy them. And I'm like, yeah, a Walmart parking lot is probably the right place to do that. And she's like, yeah, and I'm just hungry, and it's hot out, and my truck doesn't have air conditioning. My son's in there with his girlfriend. See? Do you see him over there? And I look over and I see like a grown man with a beard and a girl sitting in a truck. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you guys all just came here together to try and sell $1,000 pugs in a Walmart parking lot, and I'm buying you a Whopper? I was like, I wish I had $1,000 pug to sell. I still bought her 2 Whoppers because I don't know. I'm bad at saying no. If someone's hungry, I want them to have food. I don't know if she's feeding them to the pugs maybe or what. Anyways, back to sitting in Carl's Jr. with that dude after he's telling me about the dogs. Then he pulls up his job, like his work schedule. And he's like, oh man, on Tuesday I'm working with James and Alyssa. And I'm like, oh man, classic James and Alyssa. He's like, oh man, I've only got a 4-hour shift on Wednesday. Oh man, and Natalie's the manager. And I'm just like, why the fuck are you saying this to me? And then he's like, what's your name, by the way? And I'm like, my name's Elijah. And then I'm actually forgetting his name right now. But he's like, He's like, yeah, man, my name's JJ. My name's actually Jacob, but I go by JJ because there's a lot of people after me. And I'm like, oh, yeah? Like, I kind of thought he was joking. And he's like, yeah, it's because of what I did to my sister. I was like, huh? He's like, and he goes, yeah, she probably deserved it, though. I'm like, probably? Huh? I was so tired, and I've been sitting there for so long, and I so didn't want to talk to this dude that I didn't ask questions. I kind of wish I did, but I was just like, oh yeah, man. And then he heard me get a Snapchat alert on my phone. Like, my friend sent me a message, and I did the little. That was a terrible noise, but you might know how it sounds. And he's like, oh man, you have Snapchat? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, add me. And so I'm like, okay, scan my code. And I have him scan me and send me a friend request. I don't accept it in the moment. The second he leaves, I open Snapchat and I block him. I'm like, I don't want to be friends with that dude. Who the fuck is he? And then I had to go ask the employees to make my food. I hate being a rude DoorDash customer, so I just wait for fucking ever. Or a DoorDash driver. Because when I worked at McDonald's, the DoorDash customers, or drivers, they would just come up and be like, DoorDash? POV, you work at a fast food restaurant? DoorDash? 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 Sometimes they don't even talk, they just walk up. I would have them like come behind the counter and shit to try and grab sauces. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. And so I try really bad not to be like them because, yeah, everywhere hates DoorDash drivers. And Wingstop, I get a lot of orders for Wingstop on the weekends. And I've kind of like started chatting with the people who work there on the weekends. And it started when I went there one day and I was just sitting there and it's like they closed in like 15 minutes. No, it was like 10 minutes even. It was less than 10 minutes till they closed. And they were just finishing the order for me. And this very large gentleman comes in wearing his Domino's uniform. Like he just got off work. And he walks in and he's staring at the menu. And they're like, hey man, are you here to pick up an order or are you trying to order? He's like, I was going to place an order. And the guy's like, sorry, we close in 7 minutes. We're not taking any more orders right now. I'm sorry about that. And he just goes, okay. And then he just sits there and he just stares at the menu for a few minutes. And then he turns around and walks out. And I see him, he's walking out and he just stops. He stops in his tracks. He takes a big breath and he turns around and he slings open the door. And he doesn't do a normal point. He does like a full body, like full shoulder forward point. And he goes, next time, don't fucking lie to me, to the people behind the counter. And I started laughing at him before he was out the door because people like that deserve to be laughed at. Like, are you fucking serious, dude? They close in 7 minutes. You work food service. You know what it's like. And he comes in and he goes, next time, don't fucking lie to me. I'm like, what did he think they lied about? And I just audibly laughed at him. So then I started chatting with the people who work at Wingstop. And then literally next weekend, I my first time walking into Wingstop, the second I walk in, there's another very large gentleman. This time he's a DoorDash driver. He's standing like leaning against the counter like the DoorDash drivers do. And he's like, how long is it gonna be? And he's like, sorry about that. By the way, sorry interrupting myself again. Gamez, my French viewer, told me that rot means burp in French, and all I do is burp. So I picked the perfect title for this. But the guy's like leaning against the counter, and they're like, it'll probably be like another 10-ish minutes until it's ready. And he's just like, that's fucking absurd. I'm not waiting that fucking long. And he turns around and storms out, and I laugh at him too. Like, I love laughing at dumbasses' faces, because it's genuine laughter. Like, how are you so fucking obnoxious and existing? And I always kind of, I don't know, part of me is like rage baiting them, but also it's just so funny. It's so funny just smiling and laughing at someone who's unreasonably angry and being an asshole. And right when I walk in the door and he's like passing me going like, that's fucking bullshit, I'm not waiting that fucking long. And I laugh at him, and the guy behind the counter is like, you're here every time. He's like, every time a fat dude's yelling at us, you walk in. And then the guy was like, he comes up to me and he's like, yo, do you want like a brownie? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna get you one. And he goes back, and I'm like, is he about to give me a pot brownie? I can't handle my pot, but I will be peer pressured into taking an edible and driving if this dude gives me a pot brownie right now. I guess maybe I am susceptible to peer pressure. But luckily, it was just a standard Wingstop brownie, and it was great. If I have to be honest, it was fantastic. Also, the other night, by the way, all these stories happened in the last like 2 or 3 weeks. That just has been a lot lately. The other night, a few nights ago, I walk into 7-Eleven for a DoorDash order. I walk in, and the guy is not behind the counter, and I just hear screaming like as loud as he can, and I don't know what language he was speaking. I'm not going to try and guess what ethnicity he was, but he was just screaming in whatever language with his AirPods in, like, ah! Like an intense argument over the phone. And he like looked at me standing back there, and he just turned around and started screaming again. And so I sent the message on DoorDash. I was like, hey, the guy is screaming really angrily in a language I don't understand. I'm not sure how long your order is gonna be. And he's like, it's all good, dude, LOL. And sometimes I like to send weird messages to DoorDash customers to try and hope that they give me a better tip. Like, I'll be like, sorry, the guy behind the counter is having a mental breakdown, and I had to be his therapist for a minute. And that's gotten me bigger tips, because you can like add on to your tip while DoorDashing. And oh my god, I had the biggest aura loss DoorDashing a couple weeks ago. I did a cash order for the first time, and I was really sleep deprived, and I'd never done a cash order before. And so it tells me on DoorDash, it's like, you're picking up cash, have change if they need it, you're going to get $5 for your tip. And I'm like, okay. So I pick up the food, his pizza, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to get $5. And I hand the guy his pizza, and he hands me the cash, and I'm like, thanks, man. And he's like, yeah, there's $45 for you. And I'm like, oh my god, thank you, dude! $45! Like, genuinely, that's like a little exaggerated, barely exaggerated from how I reacted in person to him giving me the $45. And then I get to my car, and I immediately realize, like, the second I turn around, it was $45 because the pizza was $40. $5 is for me. They take the other $40 from my normal pay. And I was just like, that dude, I want to know what he thought. I want to know what he thought when, like, did he feel bad, or what did he think when I was just like, oh my god, thank you, dude, to getting $5. He was probably like, holy shit, that guy really needed that $5. I was genuinely like driving going like, oh, like just that cringe at yourself, just so embarrassed. It was making me just wince just thinking about it. Oh my god, I'm still wincing a little thinking about it. Oh, it was, because genuinely, that's how I said it. I said, oh my god, thank you, dude. That's what I said, loud. Oh, I could probably keep going, but I don't feel like it. I'm going to end it there. Thanks for watching to my 3 viewers. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Come watch me on Twitch and my bio, what the fuck ever. Bye. Oh, welcome to Rant of Today.